Right. So, welcome back, everybody. We are at the table today with many hands. We are just a conversational group. We want to talk about what's good, what's not. We like to talk about business. We like to talk about the world today. So we are your number one platform for business and social consciousness. My name is Oriel Ross McKinney, and I am with O Ross, the Small Biz Engine, and I am here with the crew. And who else do we have?
Hey everybody, it's Rio Winfrey here of Rio Fitness, model, actor, and fitness enthusiast. First off, I hope everybody is doing well, maintaining great health, and you're in safe quarters. Feel free to check me out on Instagram, RioTWin, RIOTWIN 15. But I hope everybody's well, and looking forward to catching up with everybody.
All right.
So, hello everybody, this is Antoine Watts. I am founder of ADW Consulting. I am partners in personal injury professionals and Keep Calm attorney referral service. We're just out here, trying to build networks to help people create and build their dreams.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy B McKinney, McKinney Brands. We are your business consultants, real estate brokerage, travel, you name it. We're here to help you. We invest in businesses and entrepreneurs, and we will help you grow your business as well. Get in touch with us, info@mckinneybrands.com.
Awesome. Good stuff. So it's crazy. We haven't spoken for a while, and it wasn't that we didn't want to. It's just that things happen, and we had some highs and some lows, and that's life. They just ebbs and flows, right? So it's nice. Is nice. So what we're going to do today, I thought that we would talk about what's not said, the unspoken. So right now we're in the midst of the pandemic. We just finished April 2020, and it was either for you the fastest month that you've ever experienced or the slowest month you've ever experienced, depending on what your setup is. And I just feel like there's so many things that are being thrown in our face in terms of, with the media coverage and what they want you to see. B and I were very plugged into news stories and all of that. So we hear it all. But what would you guys say is one of the secondary issues going on right now that people are facing?
I just wanted to say, this is Antoine. I just wanted to say, one of my biggest things that I think we as a society need to be listening to is, like you said, everybody's plugged into the data. But I think one of the issues that we have is incomplete data, right? And I think the secondary issues that a lot of people everybody kind of wants to get back to their normalcy in their lives and businesses opening back up. But I think moving forward, now that the testing is available, we're going to see more situations and more issues arise that we didn't see before. And I think that's something that, again, I know that's on my mind is I know we want to get back to the business and the money and the normalcy, but are we moving too fast and because of incomplete data? Yeah.
I don't even know, because of the climate that we're in, the data that is released, and of course the unknown, to your point, how much do you trust it?
Right.
Yeah, that's a whole nother, that could be it's a full discussion in its own.
Okay. Yes. But I think that when it comes to anything this big, you have risk, you have impact, and you have how you're going to mitigate it. And I think that there are going to be so many behavioral changes that we may not see it coming. For example, what's going to happen when businesses realize, especially those who've been fully operational, realize that they can do the same job with less in terms of the workforce, in terms of not having to staff a facility, and they could just do more with less. And especially as the job market becomes more competitive, because we had the job numbers, I believe the loss was about 26 million, reported. Don't forget there's some that are unreported. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen then? What's going to happen when, jobs look different?
Yeah. And then, you know, what we're not talking about is mental health. You know, there's a lot of stress, not only, you know, I'll speak for myself, stress of not getting COVID, number one, staying healthy for my family. My kids are home from school. And so we're working and homeschooling kids, keeping our businesses going. And so all of that sort of builds up. And as we're probably 60 or 70 days into this right now, the stress and the mental health is something that I think will come into question, that will come into play. And then because we can't see this, you know, being able to think about, you know, almost kind of like a PTSD. We don't know when it's kind of over, and when are we back? When are we safe and back to some sort of new normal? It's gonna be something to see.
Yeah.
And I think we all talked about this before, is the telemed component, right? You know, even with mental health, I had a conference call the other night where, you know, we're talking about building a network of therapists that people can dial into and do from the comfort of their own homes, family counseling. But just even back to your point about businesses being able to think they can do more with less. Why would you secure commercial office space when you can provide, you know, laptops or people to work from home, and you don't have to have that extra expense, you know, on your books? I mean, one of my friends, there's 150 employees at his office, and they're talking about they're going to be working at home for the next 6 months.
Yeah, I've worked at home for several years, and listen, they get more out of you at home, right? Because you don't have that commute time, and sometimes you're like, oh, let me just go ahead and get started. You know, let me stay later. All of that.
Yeah, but you know, some of these companies have like 10-year leases, and so it'd be interesting to see if I'm committed, if I'm in year 2 of this 10-year lease, if that landlord's not going to let me out of it, then you know what, I'm paying for the space, so you guys might have to come back in the office. You know, so that'll be, again, that's something that's we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But I think that people will be coming back.
And who's going to actually trust going back to the office? Kind of going back to earlier, like, how can we trust information? Okay, next week you guys can start going back to work. Who's all going to be comfortable with that? You know, we don't know anything. So this transition period that we're going to experience at some point, that's going to be another challenge, you know, that I feel like nobody's really thinking about, or if they are, they're not really voicing that. But that's going to be something big that needs to be thought out and planned. How you transition people back into the offices for those that are going to be going back.
And you know, this is the one thing that I still can't believe people don't grasp a lot of the times, is I hear people say, well, I'm not sick. I don't have the symptoms. I feel fine. It's not about you.
Right.
It's about other people that hopefully you care about. Even if it's not your family, your friends, just still care about other people, because even though you may be okay, other people have these underlying health conditions, and that if you do come in contact with them, and if you are asymptomatic, but they do catch it, it affects them and their families. So, you know, Brian and O, we had a sidewalk conversation of last week, right? You know, I pulled up to your house. We talked from your front porch onto the sidewalk, you know, because one, you guys respect the space of your family, but so do I. Right. So that's the thing, man. We like, Rio, even talking about going back to the offices, we don't know what people do when they leave.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what it is. It's like you can do everything in your power, in your control to mitigate risk. But if the next person next to you isn't, it blows everything out of the water. Right. And so, you know,
there's something that's sticking out to me right now that you guys both, like, everybody's kind of touched on it a little bit, how it's changed. But this is particularly jarring for us as people of color, because we went from, man, we can't even get this. We so smooth. We so smooth to being the face of death for this disease.
Right.
You know, COVID.
And, you know, the crazy thing is
virus, disease.
Yeah.
How do we are we willing to reopen because it's not an issue as much for recovery? Isn't the issue? It is for the not people of color.
Yeah.
I mean, should I dare say it? As far as, we can start with Georgia, the businesses they want to start with opening, like who that impacts mostly, if you think about it. So that's another thing, like you said, so that's a great point to bring up, and, in that sense, we, as people of color, also got to do a better job of kind of educating ourselves too, how we can kind of protect ourselves, whether it's, me coming from a fitness standpoint. I had a call with my family last week, and I was talking to them about the importance of, vitamin D and so forth like that. But that's going to be something that, they're not going to touch on because it's more of a general basis for everybody. But we have a responsibility also to ourselves to make sure we're protected.
Yeah. Or not party like a Chicago block party. But,
right. And that's part of my issue. In Tallahassee, my parents told me that there was a 1-year-old birthday party at a park, and the police officers went to break it up, and the folks that were there were upset because, it's a 1-year-old birthday party. Listen, it's not that serious.
First of all, that 1-year-old is not going to remember that party.
Not even a little bit going to remember that.
I always said with our kids, that 1-year-old party is for the parents and the grandparents. The kid doesn't remember anything. So stop playing games, people, and stay home. But, you see all these protests that are going on right now. People don't want to, you can't tell me what to do and tell me to stay home. But I'm like, really, man? Really? It is interesting.
It's selfish. You see a lot of true colors. I mean, you see it in a lot of different cases, but with this big pandemic, man, you see a lot of true colors really coming out. And unfortunately, even people that you're probably still close to or that you're pretty cool with, you're seeing a lot of that as well. I have people I see on social media kind of beefing about the whole thing, and even posts, and I've seen people that are still like in big groups, and it's just like, so next time I'm around you, or whatever, it's kind of like, you're someone not to take anything that serious, especially something like this. It's causing a lot of, fatalities.
So, this is the crazy thing. So literally last weekend, one of my friends comes into town. He drives into town to really help take care of his mom, get her situated. And he's like, "Hey man, come over." I said, "Nah, I'm not gonna do it." He said, "Look, we're gonna do the whole distancing thing. We're gonna be outside, this and that." So I thought about it for about 15 minutes, and I was like, you know what? We're not gonna be close. I'm not going inside the house. Like, I'm gonna do it, right? So I go take a shower, and I'm on the phone with my parents, and I said, "Look, I'm getting ready to take a shower and then you head out." And my mom said to me, "Promise me you're not gonna go." She said, because this is the thing, you can plan it all out.
Yeah.
And it can be the most ideal situation, but something happens out of the control, and then now we have a bigger issue. And in that moment, I had to really check myself. Like, man, I was gonna be outside. I wasn't gonna go inside the house. I'm gonna be in my car out in the driveway. He's gonna be in the driveway. From Georgia to Florida, I get to see my boy I grew up with. And then finally, I just called him and said, "Hey, I can't make it." And he was surprised. He was like, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, man. Look, again, it's not about me. It's about just caring about what happens to other people." And right. I just think that we're a society of survivor mode. When anything goes against the way we want it to be, we go into survivor mode and we say, "Well, you can't tell me what to do." And this, again, it goes back to caring about other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very simple. That is the very simple cause of it for me, and I won't break that. I just won't do it.
What they say about Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Absolutely.
And coronavirus is Mike Tyson punching people in the face right now. It's not a game. I don't understand. I don't know when it's going to sink in that this is not a game. People look at the numbers. Oh, it's such a small percentage. Yeah, but those are real people with real families and
that are gone,
real bodies. And until it happens to you, maybe that's what it is. As we and as a society, I think it's clear that we lack empathy for others.
We do.
That is never more present than right now.
Yeah. I found out this morning that a cousin of my father's, his first cousin, has it right now. She's been struggling with myeloma for several years now. So she's already immunocompromised with the cancer. And then now this, because the nurse, her caregiver, contracted it from another patient that she has. So as she visited that home, she got it. That family did not let her wear a mask in their house. And then she brought it to my cousin. She's an elder, so I call her an aunt. And, now her oxygen's at 60%. We don't know, what that's really looking like. You got to keep in mind, my dad's in his 80s, right? So if you think about the age range. So now, once you personalize anything you do, like I believe anything that you're passionate about, anything that comes up, anything that you want to create change, and you have to personalize the experience or you're of no use to the movement. So, but why do you guys think that there is no widely accepted methodology in terms of curing it, or a widely accepted system for everybody to participate in to keep society safe and moving forward?
I guess in my mind, I feel like everything comes down to the dollar. So I feel like, although it's unfortunate, I mean, everything that's going on, I mean, let's just be honest, it's, we're in a selfish state, worldwide, but pretty much, as you know, the current reign they're under. So I feel like they're kind of thinking they have more so dollars in mind over people, in my opinion. So I feel they're trying to figure that out before they kind of lay out anything else.
Well, I'm going to tell you also, if you guys remember, it was used as political ploy initially, right? It was, this is a hoax by the Democrats, don't believe it. And then literally 6 days later, those same news outlets that were pushing that message were calling it a pandemic now, right? Mm-hmm. So that already started the divisiveness when we made it political initially, instead of making it a health issue. And instead of giving all of the possibilities that, you really touched on, and I want to get back to this. You said that your aunt, your cousin, your aunt, 60% of lung capacity right now. What people don't understand is when you contract this disease, you don't regain your full capacity, your full lung capacity. Like, it's not like you may recover from the actual disease, but your body does not fully recover. So now down the line, what other health issues are you gonna have? Mm-hmm. See, that's the thing that people think, oh, I'm gonna, okay, I'll get it. I'm strong. I'll recover. You may, but you won't be the same you. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's part of the problem. Again, politics, not having all the information, getting foolish information from people who aren't experts. And then, again, preaching that message to, say if my parents were to call me and say, Antoine, don't worry about it. Don't listen to it. It's being overblown. Mainstream media is making this crazy. I wouldn't listen to it if I were you. But that's my parents telling me that. So what am I going to do? I might not listen if I'm not educated myself. Right. So now you have the trickle-down effect of that. So it just, look, I don't have the answers to it all, but I know what we should not have done. That I can speak about very clearly. Yeah,
absolutely. This whole thing, I mean, I question so much. I question, probably broken relationships. Do you reach out to people that that the relationship has been fragmented for whatever the reason? Being a mom, because I realize that I'm an excellent mom in the evenings and weekends. Excellent. All day? No. No. What do you want?
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
Every day.
And they're sticky. They're hungry. They have questions all day. So, that in and of itself, you have to be, if you choose the life of being a full-time, married parent or stay-at-home parent, then that's something that you prepare for. And that's something that you want to do. Wasn't really in my foresight. You know,
Right.
so, and people like, oh, well, this is the time where, you're supposed to take more time with your family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But not everybody has slowed down. Some of us have jobs that have ramped up, in terms of our responsibilities and things like that. So now what happens is the kids are suffering because, perhaps, mine are very young. So the attention that they were used to getting pretty much all the time, they expect it still, right? Because that's what they've grown accustomed to. And it's hard to provide it and balance it, right? So, what do you do? How do you recover from that?
It's a lot of adjustment overall, it's a lot of adjustment for everybody, depending on what you got going on, or no matter, I guess I should say, everybody has something different going on, but overall, it's an adjustment period. But like you said, I mean, some businesses are ramping up, and it's that adjustment as well. It's the adjustment from working from home for those that are doing that. And like you said, you have family, then it's, you got to make sure your kids are good. Some of you guys are doing, helping out obviously with the teaching and just a balance game. So I feel like that's, it's been a challenge, but at the end of the day, I think we're going to come out of this, call me being this way optimistic, but I think we'll come out of this just knowing, man, I kind of handled that very well for those of us that are doing that. So it's a learning experience, but at the end of the day, we'll see, okay, I'm definitely a little bit stronger and tougher than I thought,
And Brian, what you guys have been able to establish at home as well is, and I know that first week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks was tricky, but you were able to set a structure, a routine, right? And that helps a little bit. But again, you're trying to incorporate your new normal with the kids and the homeschooling as you're trying to incorporate your new normal with your careers and the business. So it's a much tougher mark to hit. I have been seeing a lot of my friends, we chatted up a little bit, the guys in our back groups, and they're like, look, some of them are like, look, my job has slowed down tremendously. And I'm still able to get paid and make money. So I don't stress about the financial component of it. And it does give me time to spend more time with my family. And then I have the opposite of that, where I have some friends that are like, look, my kids are always, 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 always attached to me.
Always.
I love them. But again, mental health, right? Like, truly, like, we laugh and we joke, but people, please be clear. We are very serious about this stuff because the little things do cause other reactions. And look, between attorneys and health, mental health workers, I think coming out of this, those two fields are going to be highly utilized.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is causing us to develop a muscle that we may otherwise not have. And some people, I think the people you see that will come out of this in a better position are the ones who are able to develop that muscle. And that could be a muscle for patience. It could be a muscle for multitasking. It could be giving somebody more drive. You never know what it is. Everybody's different. But if you are able to develop that muscle, you can put yourself in a better spot. If you're not, and you struggle to do that, then you might catch that person lagging behind as things, as we come out the other side of this. Now, it's, and again, God willing, everybody comes out the other side of it.
Oh yeah. I would definitely say some things I've been seeing in trends. I mean, you see a lot of people just being creative, depending on the businesses they have, specifically with entrepreneurs. You see a lot of creativity, people doing things a lot differently. So I feel that's another good thing that's coming out of this, kind of branching out. You're just seeing a lot of people's hustle, man. It's just starting to skyrocket, It's kind of a do or die, for lack of better terms.
Honestly, I'm so that I always shift the conversation. I apologize, you guys, but in one sense, people are like, rebranding and this and that. But one, I can't stand a keyword, a catchphrase keyword. Everybody's like, well, you just got to pivot.
Hey, B, she gonna leave our word alone, B. Is it? All right.
Oh, is that
we talked about that.
Sometimes, you have to take a very individualized approach because a lot of when it comes to marketing, I need to get an amen from you, Twan, if I'm spot on or not. Like when it comes to marketing, you have to personalize it. You have to build it organically. Because at the end of the day, you can have 1,001 funnels and this and that, and people don't like you. They're not going to do business with your company. They don't know who's behind it. They don't know, you know what I mean? So you still need to awaken all the senses of a relationship and a sale. And for those things that can be transactional, it's a beautiful thing for some people who don't want that. But for the heavier sales, for those bigger, dollar amounts, people have to trust you. I'm not giving you 6 and 7 figures to close when I don't trust you. I need to know more about you. So I just feel like sometimes you really have to look at the business model itself and not just jump into what everybody else is doing because we have a new key phrase.
And it is true, but also, and this is what, and Brian and some of our other guys in a different group, we talk about this a lot of the times too, right? Pivot doesn't mean like you completely change. Pivot just means that you kind of modify even the things you already have, right? So like you may not change completely and pivot out of something. You just may just take a different direction to, and again, rebrand is still, they lie side by side, right? Like in a sense. I always tell people, I had a conversation with a business owner the other day, and one of the questions that they had for me was like, so how are you staying positive completely through this whole thing? And I said, no, in one day, I could go from the world is falling to it's going to be the greatest thing ever, like in a day. So it's I just tell people, do the best you can in those moments to look. One of my favorite people on this planet now, her name is, I believe it's Tabitha. I want to say her name is Tabitha Brown, and I apologize if I got it wrong, but one of her sayings is, if it's okay if you can't have a good day, but don't you go messing up nobody else's. So when I'm having one of those rough situations, I deal with it in the day because I understand the ebbs and flows of what it's gonna be, but I don't call a Brian or Rio or Oriel and say, oh my God, the world is falling. I don't do that because I know everybody's dealing with their own I guess transitioning, pivoting into their new normal, right? So
but what happens when you need to exhale yourself, right? So there's a balance.
Right.
So
right.
Like if you have people who are your support system, that's the whole point, or get rid of them.
That's exactly.
Hands down.
Wasting my good, you know what I mean? There's a lot of COVID air out there. You wasting my good non-COVID air.
We even talk about that too, because even the other day I called, I just said, hey, just tell me some stories about the kids. Like, just give me some funny, because again, another thing too is just because you're dealing with it and you may not be in the best of spirits, the world is not falling. So you just have to, sometimes you just have to hear the voice of your support group, right? And even be like, Brian, when I talked to you, you were like, you okay? I said, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm just calling to say, hey, give me some stories about the kids. Make me laugh a little bit. So, that's it. And Rio, I know, like, even with you, man, there's probably 30 different groups that you have of friends that you could reach out to for any particular reason, because you're just that dude, right? Like, you're always there to help for everybody. You're always positive. And I know that you have some friends reaching out to you for the same things, Right. Rio, give me a word. Give me a quick saying, give me something.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things, like, but you do have to have that group that you can, go to and non-judgmental conversation. It's just like, hey, this is where I'm at,
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, you guys know how I am. I pretty much try to keep it consistent with positivity, but at the end of the day, I am human, so I do have my moments, but then what I do when I get there, I kind of think about, I guess the old saying, old adage, I mean, it can always be worse. At the end of the day, I still have my health, fortunate enough, I'm still, able to gain income. I just think about the things, I put that in the forefront of what's going right for me versus on focusing on what's not going right. The world's not in a good spot just yet, but somehow, through God's good graces, that I'm here, so I kind of keep that in mind. But at the end of the day, you also want to be there, and I see what Ola was saying earlier too. But also when you call, it's got to have somebody to vent to. What you want to do is not spend a whole lot of time, if possible, focusing just on that, because that at some point that negative energy can just definitely spread. It's kind of like, I have a friend of mine that's a hairstylist, so she always says, we're kind of like counselors. People come in and talk about their problems, but after a while, it starts to wear on me.
Right.
All you're hearing is just that negativity. There's got to be a little bit of a balance there.
Yeah, there you go.
And and real quick, I'm sorry, I want to give her due credit. Her name is Tabitha Brown, actually, that has the saying, don't, if you can't have a good day, don't go messing up anybody else. All right.
Right.
I want to give her due diligence because she is one of my outlets, and I watch her and her husband's show on Facebook, and it's hilarious. So I'm sorry, but go ahead, guys. I apologize.
All right. No apologies necessary. I want to, wrap it up a little bit. I think that it's kind of funny. Well, a lot of our program is we start with the thought-provoking, topics and feedback. And it's jarring, you know what I mean? Because you want to actually, change lives, change people. That's why we're doing this, So, I'm just reaching out to people, join us, send us more of your questions and your topics. Let us know what's on your mind. Let us start the conversation. Sometimes you just have to talk about it. And that's the only way we're going to find some kind of common ground. I had somebody, reach out to me and they said, people are so spiritual that they forget to be practical, and sometimes, we talk in a very high level and ethereal way. And sometimes we just need to, roll up our sleeves. I've always been a, get involved, roll up my sleeves kind of girl. And that's just what it is. Sometimes you just got to get it done at the end of the day. And so, okay, be better out there then. And that's why I'm recording now, right? Because, usually I'm like, okay, let me try to do it around a nap or something like that. But real life, we can't stop life. It's just, they have to be part of it. I had Ross even given us, business advice. He overheard conversations that we were having. This is how I think that you should handle the conversation with the employees. And
that is amazing.
This
right? Like
happened within the last 2 hours.
But this is the crazy thing, right? Oh, you guys sit around and have these conversations and really think they're not listening, right? But this is the thing. It won't be foreign to them years from now. Like they live in a house every day where business is discussed. Yeah. And that's kind of like how in the house I grew up, it wasn't about business. It was about people. My mom ran a facility for abused and neglected kids for 20 plus years. And it was, Antoine, you may have these problems, but look at these kids' lives. So one of the things that I'm trying to do during this time, and I've probably been doing it the last 6 weeks, or 4 weeks, is anytime I wake up and I'm having a day that I feel like it may be not my best day, I find a way to do something nice for somebody. I don't need them to know it was me, but it's something that if you do something nice for someone else, it takes the spotlight off of you and your issues. It just shifts you in a different mindset, and I promise you feel so much better throughout the rest of that day. So it's the little things you have to find your thing that makes you feel better. Because in these times, like you said, life is life, and it's not gonna stop.
You're truly one of the most compassionate and giving people that I know. So I get that from you. Whether it's
absolutely,
I get that from you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We gotta give Karen Butler Miller all the credit on that one. We'll give her, she gets it all.
Karen Butler.
Yeah, she gets it all.
Yeah, I mean, just something I want to leave everybody with. If you take nothing from this conversation, you are not alone in this. We're all sort of in the same sort of boat, right? Everybody's a little bit different, but we're all sort of dealing with this. So reach out to a friend, reach out to an old friend, reach out and make a new friend, but we're all doing this together. And so this too shall pass, God willing, but to Antoine's point, do something good for somebody, put out some good energy. You'd be surprised at the rule of multiplicity. And when you put something out, it multiplies and it just starts to snowball and roll in a good way.
Absolutely.
Gift that keeps on giving.
Yes, yes, yes.
So before we depart, I'm going to ask one of my questions to make you think a little bit, and just gives us a little bit more insight into who we are. So what do you call yourselves? And I mean, what is your business ownership title? Are you the founder, the owner, visionary founder, visionary leader, CEO, chief
President,
business officer? What title do you use when you are submitting your bio? I'm not even gonna say introducing yourself, so nobody says that. So when you're submitting your bio, what title do you use?
For me, I'm owner. I'm owner of Rio Fitness. So you can also find that at riowinfrey.com or bookrio.com, by the way. Now is a great time to get your fitness on, as we need to maintain our health during this pandemic. But yeah, I am the owner of Rio Fitness.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I know for me, I used to do owner a lot, and now I put partner, because now Rio owns, operates, like he is the show, right? Like, and I know with me, and obviously you have partnerships, including, O Ross and all, so you have those partnerships, but I just call it partner because, like we always talk about, we're thought partners. We have, in what I do and other stuff, I have partners as well. So I try to keep it there. But one of my favorite movies, Black Godfather, Clarence Avant says, "I don't have problems, I have friends." That's really where we're trying to keep that focus in all the business stuff that we do moving forward.
Absolutely.
For me, it depends. It depends on the conversation or where I'm at or what platform or interview I'm doing. It just kind of depends. In some instances, I'm a partner. Some instances, it makes sense for me to be the owner. Because it's just who you're talking to. That's just how I roll.
True.
I get it.
So when it comes to MB, I say partner. And when it comes to O Ross, I say I'm an impact strategist or a business strategist.
Mm.
I leave it at that. I don't put a title when it comes to the levels of leadership, So, but I always find it interesting, and I always find the why interesting. So I thought I'd throw it out to you guys. I bet
we're gonna think about that some more too.
Yep.
That's a great. That's really is a great question.
Text you like midnight. You know what? I thought about it.
And B's answer is absolutely correct, right? It depends on the room that you're in at the time you're talking about it.
It does. Yeah.
Like that really does matter. I'm gonna think about that a little bit more. That's great point.
I'm going to post this question in Fuel, and I want to see some answers. Like, you guys should be adding at first. Yeah. At me next time, bro.
Right.
I know what you're thinking. All right. Well, guys, this was it was a pretty good segment. We of course ran over because that's just what we do. The music is, when I realized there was an issue with the music, it's kind of funny. I'm going to try to edit it. But the funny part is, the other window that was open was my son's one of his online libraries. So it was like a story time. I was like, what is this thing? Those are the real conversations. We do real life, real conversations. We're here, Many Hands. Hit us up, manyhandspodcast.com. Hit us all over. You can find me at orielross.com, ORIEL, Ross, ROSS.com. You have bookrio.com for more information on Rio Fitness and everything that he does. And, it's a different year, or else he would, I promise you, he would have been in London Fashion Week and Miami Fashion Week.
Yes.
Just all over continents. We're covering continents. We're not local right there. You can catch Antoine. What's your site there, Twan? Hit us with it.
So we have personal injury professionals. We have Keep Calm Orlando. We have pipinjury.com. PIPINJURY.com. Hey, you can find us out there.
All right, and B, I'm gonna do it for you because that's what I do. That's what you come and hear your husband's airtime. It's really sad, It might change the conversation, the whole dynamic. Anyway, McKinneyBrands.com. Find Brian at McKinneyBrands.com. It is always a good day to buy or sell property. Okay, so that's one of the things that we're doing, and we are gonna invest in our next big dream because that's just what we do. So, we are out, you guys. And of course, we'll be back soon with the next episode of Many Hands.